Leviticus 21 may not be for you. These are not general, this is not general guidance to a group of people. It's written specifically for people like me and those who call themselves pastor, teachers, apostles. These are the Levitical priests that operate to serve as the chief men, the chief persons that intercede for the people. These are a particular group of people. The reason why I put myself in that is because of this, providing this information, being an example. I face these temptations often, and I have to deal with them personally in my life, and it's been that way for a long time, and I have not always hit it on the mark. There is a higher responsibility for being an example, a teacher. It's not always the most comfortable place to live. But if you're interested in being a source for the people in the kingdom of God, first of all, it's a calling. It's not some place where you want to put yourself. You really don't. Not trying to sound funny. There are people that are pastors, teachers, evangelists, the fivefold ministry aspect. And by the way, just for clarity's sake, this is specifically for my grandchildren, my brothers and sisters in Kenya, and if you're blessed by this information, then so be it. I hope you are. I hope this benefits you in that you understand how to properly walk in the kingdom of God as an example. As a child of Israel. In this case, in particular, as a pastor teacher. It's important to understand that we all have a responsibility to intercede for one another. Make sure we're all walking according to these precepts, these statutes, this way of living. We all need accountability. We don't always say we do. And we don't always welcome it. I was talking to someone recently, and I held them accountable, and they brushed me off. As happens with people who say they want it, but then they brush you off. Listen, it's nothing about you. It's just we say we want something. We say we want to walk according to something. But when it comes down to it, because our feelings get hurt, we say, what's the point of holding somebody else accountable? And it ain't got nothing to do with you. That is the high calling of this particular part, Leviticus chapter 21. Their job is to hold the people accountable, along with staying accountable. Early on, I talked about the passionate positioning of Aaron. This was no small task, keeping in mind he's following behind his brother, the famous Moses. And his brother has made him responsible for the temple, on top of that, 2 of his sons have already died. And so now he's working with his 2 younger sons to operate the mechanism that is the temple where everyone brings their offerings. This is no small thing. This is no small responsibility. This is a massive responsibility for millions of people, which is the reason why you had tribal leaders in charge of this. There had to be order, and Aaron was responsible for making sure that that order was there. So I'm talking to you leaders as well. Oftentimes we focus on ancillary things that have absolutely nothing to do with bringing order to the body. Because you have your own personal goals. In the text, it shows that the personal goals here are dead. And I may have to redo this video, but that's in my spirit. That's what's in me to say. This is about the relationship between God and the holy, or the God and the high priest. The pastor, the teacher. In other words, anytime you're responsible for a congregant, a nation, you're not an assistant, because your job is to teach the assistants. You're not just a congregant, because the congregant is the New Testament version of the sheep. No, this is for the one that passes along the information, passes along the process. Verse 1 of Leviticus 21, and the Lord said unto Moses, speak unto the priests, the sons of Aaron, and say unto them, there shall none be defiled for the dead among his people, but for his kin that is near unto him, for his mother, and for his father, and for his son, and for his daughter. That means these priests can marry. And for his brother, and for his sister, a virgin that is nigh close unto him, which hath had no husband, for her may he be defiled. He shall not defile himself, a chief man among his people, to profane himself. Verse 5, they shall not make baldness upon their head, neither shall they shave off the corner of their beard, nor make any cuttings in their flesh. They shall be holy unto their God, and not profane the name of their God. For the offerings of the Lord made by fire, the bread of their God they do offer, therefore they shall be holy. They shall not take a wife, a whore, or profane, neither shall they take a woman put away from her husband, for he holy unto his God. Thou shalt sanctify him, therefore, for he offers thy bread of thy God. He shall be holy unto thee, for I, the Lord, which sanctify you, holy. And I can read on, and the daughter of any priest is if she, that sort of thing. But the crux of it is right here. What this doesn't say is if you take on, as an example, a woman who's been put away, you don't qualify as a congregant. you don't qualify as a chief man. There are many reasons for this, but the chief reason for this, again, is understanding how the kingdom works. We tend to go all out into what we think is conviction into condemnation. We think it's conviction. But again, this is for the chief men, the teachers, the pastors. And the reason why this is such an important aspect of the Levitical walk within the children of Israel is because we are examples. People will look to us. Sometimes we're the only fathers or mothers that some people will know. They will set their compass based upon, looking for that part, I don't know why I can't see it while I'm here. Based upon their relationship with the chief man. Verse 4, he shall not defile himself a chief man among his people to profane himself. This isn't putting him on a pedestal. This is putting him in the place of representing God by making intercessions for everyone. It doesn't say he can't get married. It says he shouldn't marry a whore. I'm using this particular part as an example just to take something out, but I could take any other part of this out. You know, the part where he says, but for his, he shall none be defiled for the dead among his people, but for his kin that is near unto him, for his mother, for his father, and for his son, and for his daughter, and for his brother, and for his sister, a virgin. In this case, his sister, if she's a virgin, that means she doesn't have a covering other than. If she wasn't a virgin, she would have a covering of a husband. For his sister, a virgin that is nigh unto him, which hath had no husband, for her may he be defiled. Temptation. Now, maybe it's not for you, and maybe it's not for me, but some people can be defiled by a family member. That's the purpose of setting yourself apart. Setting yourself aside from those personal desires that I talked about at the beginning of this. It's not about you. It's not about your personal desires. In general, that's all he's saying. It's about setting yourself apart to be an example, the chief man that intercedes for everyone else because you're receiving the offerings. Verse 8, thou shalt sanctify him therefore, for he offered the bread of thy God, which is the meat offering. He shall be holy unto thee, for I, the Lord, which sanctify you, holy. It's not meant to be deep. It's not meant to be super analyzed in that we want to justify our own behavior. So we say, yeah, but that was back then. Well, then you're missing the whole point of holiness. There is no then and now. Holiness is always. And this is not for the congregant. And the Lord said unto Moses, speak unto the priests, the sons of Aaron, not the children of Israel. There is a difference. Sometimes I guess it can be tricky because we want to automatically ascribe all the laws to all the people, but all the laws to all the people is not the way this works. There are certain laws for certain people. We, as chief men, now some people wouldn't consider me a chief man, and that's okay, but the point is there are certain things that I just can't do only because I have certain eyes on me. And they're not big eyes. You know, it's not like, you know, I'm not famous. I'm not trying to be famous. Just trying to, I just want to be obedient. Fame has its own issues. Obedience, much better than sacrifice. But you need both.